Hello and welcome to our show today. I'm your host, Andy Smith, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. You may know him from the Center County Report, where he hosts the weather on Tuesdays at 12:30, Mr. Kevin Appleby. Kevin, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Kevin, we all know you as the man who tells us our weather, but before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
Sure. So I grew up my whole life. I lived about 30 minutes west of New York City in New Jersey, a place called Rockaway. It's about dead center North Jersey, and it's also a place in that state that gets more snow than anywhere else in the rest of the state. So always a sucker for winter weather.
Oh, interesting. So what made you get into meteorology? Was it just the love of weather, or do you want to be on TV, or what is it?
Well, it definitely starts out as a love for the weather. I think not just for myself, but for most people that are interested in this field of study. It usually starts at a very young age. And for me personally, there was a lot of crazy storms from when I was younger. So we had some like Hurricane Irene, Hurricane Sandy, snowed in October a couple of years ago. So yeah, just pretty much weather events make it like interesting.
So would you say just that kind of being around all that big inclement weather, was that kind of where your passion for the weather comes from?
Well, definitely, because frankly, it's just the destruction for some of these storms, and not just the named storms that I mentioned, but even just like a general thunderstorm could produce a lot of damage. Just seeing that, it impacts everybody, impacts myself, impacts you, and it just piques my interest more than the average person.
Awesome. So what kind of stuff do they teach you here at Penn State to get you prepared to tell us what the weather is going to be like?
So, in terms of trying to do something for TV, it's a lot of experience. Penn State offers a lot of opportunities for you to get in front of the camera for practice. But in terms of like the nitty-gritty and like the actual meteorology, there's a lot of math and a lot of science courses that I've taken here. And then once you get out of those, so that's like year 1 and 2, then you get into more specific meteorology classes. I'm just kind of starting to dip into those now myself.
Oh, cool. So when you come up with a show each week, how do you find out what the weather is going to be like and determine what you're going to tell us for the audience?
Right, so obviously no week is similar. You're usually gravitating either towards a season or away from a season. So, when I started CCR in the fall, we were still warm from the summer, and now we're talking about how cold it is. So, every week's different, and you definitely want to keep the theme of what the past few weeks have been like. And then also you kind of, to prepare for the forecast, you can use the sources. There's computer models, websites, they're free. But generally, and I always recommend this to everybody, to look at the National Weather Service. They're a very talented branch of the government, and they are very smart people. And they have very good forecasts that I definitely look at for a reference to gather my thoughts into what I'm going to say for your show.
Interesting. So I understand, usually you just give us the, the daily weather and 7-day forecast, but I understand this week you're doing things a little differently. You're telling us something more? Tell us about that.
Right. So, as we're getting closer and closer to those winter months and the snow will be a little bit more frequent, I think it's always interesting to know about snow and what we can expect this winter. And then even so, there's a lot of different kinds of wintry precipitation. It's not just your snowfall. You also have your sleet. You have your freezing rain. And I think trying to explain how that happens and why it happens is something that is easy to explain and easy to understand, but yet isn't commonly used or conveyed to most people. So I would like to do that.
That's interesting. I'm really excited to watch that next week. So you're doing a great job for CCR. You have been all semester. What kind of job do you see yourself continuing in, like local news, weather kind, or do you see something else? What's in the future for Kevin Appleby?
So definitely the CCR practice has geared me towards something on the TV side of things, and it's something I've wanted to do for a while. So there's no better experience that I've had so far than being here at CCR. So you really just kind of have one shot at it. And at the beginning, I wasn't really comfortable going live, but now I feel pretty comfortable because I've just kind of been forced to, but it's all for the good. Yeah.
Oh, exactly, yeah. And we love watching you, too. And, all right, I have to ask this because I know our viewers at home are dying to know. What is Kevin Appleby's favorite type of weather?
This is not a very popular choice, but I'm a big fan of the cold. And it stems from me loving hockey as a younger kid and I always love to skate on the ice on the lakes when it freezes over. Couple winters the past few years we haven't gotten frozen. This past winter was amazing, hoping for another good one. So I love the cold.
What do you predict for this winter?
I think
Another cold one or what?
I think it's going to be sneaky in terms of it being cold, especially early on. I think we're in for a pretty chilly December. Maybe not necessarily later on in winter, but I think we'll get our cold shots and we'll get our snowstorms.
Interesting. Well, I have to say, I'm not a fan. I'm not too happy about the cold. I like, Florida weather, 70 degrees and sunny. We have a clip of you doing the weather that I'd love to show you people at home about what Kevin does best. Every Tuesday on the Center County Report at 12:30. Let's roll that clip for our audience and see Mr. Kevin Appleby in action.
The sky condition today, not as sunny as it was yesterday. We kind of snuck in a good Monday after the weekend was pretty much a washout. So we've got currently a temperature of 45 degrees. Notice it feels like a 40 thanks to a west wind at 9 miles an hour, so any breeze making it feel a little bit cooler. Dew point at 32. It's a bit dry across Pennsylvania right now. Temperatures across Pennsylvania generally in the mid 40s. We see some low to mid 40s out west where they have the lake effect machine going right now. Upper 30s over and towards the Laurel Highlands, and a bit warmer, closer to 50 towards the Philadelphia area. Temperatures across the U.S., you can see right away in the northern plains, that's where the cold air is. It's going to be making its way here for the middle and later part of this week. And as such, we have a freeze warning in effect, especially south and east of State College. Now, notice, not in effect here. We already had our growing season come to an end, but we're anticipating the growing season coming to an end in the areas highlighted in purple here tonight. And a frost advisory for areas down towards Philadelphia. Current look at radar and satellite shows some light showers in the southeast, having trouble making its way down to the ground thanks to some dry conditions, lake effect machines, some snow even in there towards the northwest. Again, having a tough time coming down thanks to these dew points. It's rather dry in the atmosphere right now. And as we time out the next day or so, model guidance is keeping the lake effect going, even showing some signs of over us, but it's just too dry. I think it's going to have trouble making it down to the ground. As we go towards the weekend, another coastal storm is going to pop up here. It should stay to our east, however, so we will remain dry from this. So for the rest of today, we'll see decreasing cloudiness as we go through the day. A light breeze, however, with a temperature of 48 degrees. As we head into tonight, we'll see some clearing. Low temperature of 31 degrees, light and variable winds as well. And as we go into the day tomorrow, we'll see scattered clouds, not as cloudy as it was today, and remaining unseasonably cool. And as we go into the 7-day forecast with the weekend in view, you could see pretty much beyond Thursday, high pressure will be in complete control. Cool conditions, but very sunny skies. A little bit warmer conditions and increasing clouds as we head towards Monday.
Thanks, Kevin. I guess we'll finally need our winter coats.
Kevin, I must say, that's pretty impressive stuff. When we come back after break, Kevin is going to show me and you at home just how exactly he works the green screen and brings us the weather each week. Stick around.
Water. An essential part of life. Unfortunately, due to corporate greed, the Target located in downtown State College has risen its price for a gallon from 65 cents to 99. That's over a 50% increase, a cost that adds up for the average college student. Put the Target on Target and demand a fair price so everyone can enjoy the great taste of water.
Hi, I'm Tom Brady, the football quarterback. I only eat Subway sandwiches. Taste that oven fresh bread. Ooh, veggies and greens straight from the garden. Deli cut meat. So come on down to Subway today and get one of our delicious subs. And don't forget to tell them Tom sent you.
Have you ever had a sore throat that just won't go away, but you hate the taste of cough medicine? Those lingering coughs that interrupt a teacher's lecture in class, or when you're trying to take a test, or giving a new presentation idea to your boss. That's why bee-soothed cough drops are the best solution. They're easy to carry around, and best of all, they're small enough to keep in a purse, or even in your pocket. You can find these products at your local CVS pharmacy. Finally, a cough remedy that actually tastes good. All right, welcome back from break. I'm here at the green screen with Kevin. We've flipped our cameras around and we're going to show you how Kevin brings the weather to us each week. So Kevin, show us a bit about what happens here.
Right, so that view you just saw, that's what it looks like to us in studio. So that really is how the show goes on. And then, of course, what happens is we have the technology behind the scenes that allows this green screen to be used to actually convey the graphics onto your screen for your viewing. So as you're looking here, you know, at this point, you just go with the forecast that gets sent to you. And I usually start off with a live cam because you know you want to get those general like current conditions intact. So I mean, right now it would be pretty cloudy because we've had a pretty dreary evening today. And then so normally you know, if I was to start here, you don't want to block the information, so you got to be careful.
You got to step out.
Yeah. You got to make sure you're not blocking the information. That would be kind of counterintuitive.
So while you're here on the screen, you're looking at the TV over here.
Either that or
yeah.
Sometimes it could be in front of you too.
Okay.
So actually in the CCR studio upstairs, it's right underneath the camera. So oftentimes you'll see me looking like down sometimes just to see what I'm looking at. We also in that same studio, the Max computer, which is actually what runs all these graphics, is right there. So I'm always looking to the side as well.
Okay.
Just as a reference point, where am I pointing to? You know, if this was a radar shot, you're looking at rain. You know, I wouldn't stand where you're standing because you're kind of blocking the rain.
I'm blocking
you
the
know?
action right
I
here.
would move to the west, and then if I do want to mention, I would roll over at the end, and then you got some lake effect showers coming off. They actually will get some snow tonight in Erie. So
Oh,
that's fun,
wow,
yeah.
some snow in Erie.
But yeah,
So this is live right now. What's
this-
going on?
This is current data that is being conveyed from the actual State College radar. Not just State College, it's all the radars in the country, but you know what we're looking at is primarily from the State College radar. It's just to our north.
So you stand with the action here on the screen. So I would be right in the middle. I shouldn't be standing here.
Well, I'm actually in a worse spot than you right
Oh,
now.
right.
I'm-
Really? So you would stand where I
would
am.
either go like towards here or towards all the way on the side, maybe on the ocean. That's more than ideal, especially since we're in Pennsylvania, is to actually be standing over the ocean so you're not blocking any of the land. Now, if you have a coastal storm, everything changes and you're going to want to go this way. So, like I said earlier, with the you know kind of same situation where we have showers in the east, so I would stand west. But generally, you want to stand in the ocean. So, in terms of like how I go about what I present, I mentioned it earlier. It really depends on what's been happening before I get on, and then what's going to happen right after, of course, which is you know what you're all here for. But generally, I will take a direction with my forecast based off of what has happened. So, up until today, it was pretty warm. However, now the temperatures have dropped, the winds have picked up a little bit, so I might include something like that. But what I think an interesting graphic would be today, I'm going to fast forward to it. It's the next one, I believe.
And you use the little clicker to
That's right,
fast
that's right.
forward. So you control when stuff moves on the screen.
Exactly, precisely correct.
Interesting.
If I'm ready to move on, I just click. If I need to go back, which I haven't had to do, and that's kind of only an emergency,
Yeah.
but there's a way to go back. But yeah, you control everything with this. But yeah, so putting it together, you would definitely want something like this today, where it's cold, much colder out west and much warmer to the east today. So yeah, and again, all control it. You actually stack the show beforehand on the computer where you get these graphics from. So this is still my stack from this past Tuesday. Essentially, you kind of put things in order of how you want to present them, and then from there, you step in front of the green screen and you just go.
Interesting. Wow, that is so neat because I always see them do the weather and stuff, but I never know how they actually do it. And I see you do it every week. You do it so well, and now I know what all goes into it. That's great. Well, Kevin, I'd like to thank you again for coming in and meeting us. I want to really interesting stuff. Thanks for answering our questions and showing us how to do the weather. Tune in next week when we interview Eli, a retired Broadway actor. And again, you can catch Kevin Appleby on the Center County Report Tuesdays at 12:30 every week, except next week because it's Thanksgiving. But he's one of our stars. Thanks a lot for coming in, Kevin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.